Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. We made it to the first hump day of the month of February. This year is really moving quick. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Wednesday. I have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and in today's news you can use. February is recognized as Heart Health Month. I had a chance to speak with Cheryl Jordan Winston, who's a sudden cardiac arrest survivor, as well as Dr. Alan Ching, not only about Cheryl's journey as a survivor of a sudden cardiac arrest episode, but also about a brand new procedure that's available to help those dealing with it as well. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Wednesday headlines. In national news, border security in Ukraine aid collapses despite Biden's plea for Congress to show some spine. President Joe Biden on Tuesday urged Congress to show some spine and stand up to Donald Trump, even as a Senate deal on border enforcement measures and Ukraine aid rapidly collapsed. Just minutes after the Democratic president's remarks at the White House, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell emerged from a GOP luncheon at the Capitol and acknowledged that the deal was dead. It looks to me and to most of our members that we have no real chance here to make a law, the Kentucky Republican told reporters. The split-screen moments in Washington represented a swift turn of events that showed McConnell slipping control of his GOP conference, Trump's growing influence, and Biden's ability only to look on as a cornerstone of his foreign policy, halting Russian President Putin's advance into Europe, crumbling in Congress. Biden had engaged for months on a carefully negotiated plan to pair policies intended to curb illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border with $60 billion in wartime aid for Ukraine. The bill was intended to exhibit American strength around the world and would also have sent tens of billions of dollars more for Israel, other U.S. allies in Asia, the U.S. immigration system, and humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza and Ukraine. But after Republicans backed away from the compromise, the president and Senate leaders are now stranded with no clear way to advance aid to Ukraine through Congress. They have run into a wall of opposition from conservatives, led by Trump, who reject the border proposal as insufficient and criticize the Ukraine funding as wasteful. Biden laid blame for the bill's demise squarely on Trump, his likely Republican opponent, in the November presidential election. For the last 24 hours, he's done nothing, I'm told, but reach out to Republicans in the House and the Senate and threaten them and try to intimidate them to vote against this proposal, Biden said. It looks like they're caving. Frankly, they owe it to the American people to show some spine and do what they know to be right. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer cast Tuesday as a gloomy day here in the United States Senate during an earlier floor speech in when he scolded Republicans for backing away from the deal. He offered to delay a key test vote on the package until Thursday, but still dared them to vote against border security, an issue they have long championed. In more national news, Trump is not immune from prosecution in his 2020 election interference case, U.S. Appeals Court says. A federal appeals panel ruled Tuesday that Donald Trump can face trial on charges that he plotted to overturn the results of the 2020 election, sharply rejecting the former president's claim that he is immune from prosecution while setting the stage for additional challenges that could further delay the case. The ruling is significant not only for its stark repudiation of Trump's novel immunity claims, but also because it breathes life back into a landmark prosecution that had been effectively frozen for weeks as the court considered the appeal. Yet the 1-month gap between when the court heard arguments and issued its ruling has already created uncertainty about the timing of a trial in a calendar-jammed election year. In more national news, Toby-Keith, country singer and songwriter, dies at 62 after stomach cancer diagnosis. Toby-Keith, a hit country crafter of pro-American anthems who both riled up critics and was loved by millions of fans, has died. This should have been a cowboy singer-songwriter who had stomach cancer, died peacefully Monday surrounded by his family, according to a statement posted on the country singer's website. He fought his fight with grace and courage, the statement said. He announced his cancer diagnosis in 2022. The 6'4" singer broke out in the country boom years of the 1990s, writing songs that fans loved to hear. Over his career, he publicly clashed with other celebrities and journalists and often pushed back against record executives who wanted to smooth his rough edges. He was known for his overt patriotism on post-9/11 songs like Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, and barroom tunes like I Love This Bar and Red Solo Cup. In more national news, CNN this morning, moving to Atlanta, staffers asked to reapply for jobs. CNN has told staff it is moving its much-hyped Chris Litt era morning show this morning from New York to its Atlanta headquarters. Two people familiar with the matter have told The Hollywood Reporter. The show's 50-person team have been told they can reapply for their jobs within the network. According to the people familiar, Phil Mattingly and Poppy Harlow will be moving to new roles per sources. And finally, in entertainment news, Tracy-Chapman's Fast Cars tops iTunes charts following Grammy performance. Tracy-Chapman's original recording of Fast Car is finding new life on the charts following her performance with Luke Combs at the 2024 Grammys. After the awards show, the 1988 song was the #1 song and music video on the iTunes charts, with the singer's debut album also taking the #1 spot for album. Chapman's version peaked at #6 when it was originally released. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Wednesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. You were created with everything you need to be just the person you were meant to be. Now go out there and be it. Have an amazing Wednesday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Cheryl Jordan Winston and Dr. Ellen Ching in today's News You Can Use. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your News You Can Use. February is recognized as Heart Health Month. Yesterday on Conversations Live, the radio show, I spoke with Dr. Ellen Ching, as well as sudden cardiac arrest survivor Cheryl Jordan Winston, not only about sudden cardiac arrest, but also about a brand new procedure that's available for those who have experienced it. Here's a bit of our conversation. Thanks for the two of you for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for having us.
Definitely an important topic. Cheryl, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with you. And I want to first say thank you so much for sharing your story, because I know by doing so you are definitely impacting lives and helping to save lives. Can you tell us a bit about your own sudden cardiac arrest experience?
Absolutely. In 2020, I collapsed in my bedroom unexpectedly and had a sudden cardiac arrest. And my husband did CPR on me until the EMTs arrived. And I was successfully resuscitated after not having a pulse for 25 minutes. And after spending about 2 weeks in the hospital recovering, I was a trial patient for the new EV-ICD.
And Cheryl, for those who are just hearing about EV-ICD, I want to talk about what your life has been like since you've been able to receive it. How has it impacted your life and what you're able to do?
The EV-ICD has really allowed me to return to a normal life and do that confidently. So after my sudden cardiac arrest, I went back to work, I've traveled, I have, exercised, and really this device has enabled me to do that, and to do that without fear.
Oh, wow. What a great thing to hear about. Dr. Ching, I want to bring you into the conversation here. What does this recent FDA approval mean for patients like Cheryl?
Yeah, in short, it's a new and better option with potentially fewer complications in managing patients at risk for sudden cardiac arrest.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversation Daily News. Be glad to get to on tomorrow's more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your entertainment spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Let us go make today amazing. Take care.